is Jarrell with Quantum Light Consciousness. Today, we're going to talk about how to walk in your center and remain grounded and at peace within your own soul as you continue to wake up. Okay? So, what it comes down to is the universe and the world within that universe. Our little planet Earth within that universe. And our little planet Earth spinning on, its axis as it barrels through space, okay? Because the Earth actually isn't going in a circle, it's going in a vortex, and it's actually following the sun, which is going on the same trajectory in a vortex. All right, so our little planet is actually part of a huge living electrical system. Now, mainstream science has actually just proven this with the electric universe theory, okay? Go look them up on YouTube or wherever. They do conferences, and they're breaking actually like what has been, widely believed until the past, 5 or so years. And they're really coming out with how the stars are actually huge, giant electrical conductors. Who would have thought, there's light coming out of a huge burning orb in the sky that's floating, and it's actually electric. Wow. What else will they find out? But, they actually did just find this out, and that kind of stuff directly relates to your physical body. The Earth is bioelectric. Your physical body is also bioelectric, and the neurons that go through your brain, they're actually electric. Your nervous system is electric. So your everyday reality is actually part of this huge, gigantic electrical system that you have to implement yourself in every day. So it helps to know how to work with it instead of, being kind of just like jostled around and pushed around by it without you knowing, or, whether you do know or not, you're totally affected by it. So here's where I want to start. All right, let's start with you. All right, you are a walking, living, breathing star. Okay, I say this in every video. All right, the canon of man. All right. Da Vinci, back in the day, 1500s, he figured it out, all right? He channeled the information. He did the template level blueprint of the human body, the creator, all right? That's the human, okay? It's just a guy spinning really, really, really fast, all right? Made of light, like a star, exactly like a star, synonymous. When you hear the term center, like when you hear the term how to walk in your center, be in your center, that just means be in a pillar of light and be aligned with your light body. Now, walking in your center and being aligned there all the time is a totally, completely different story. However, it can be done, and it can be your everyday reality if you choose to. You kind of have two different choices. You can choose to wake up, or you can choose to kind of get jostled around by the energies that everybody else is currently processing every single day of their life on loop, on repeat. Like Groundhog's Day. So if you choose to wake up, then congratulations, you're in the right place. So if you were to be able to astral project, okay, and walk in space, like space is a huge field that goes along into eternity. There's a Black Hawk helicopter just serving him. Anyway, if you were to go up into space and just walk through the fields of eternity, and you'd be able to walk up to a star, you'd be able to see the being of the star, and see that being is actually a person. Like, hence the term Jesus as the Son of God. He was actually a son of a father and mother, and he was actually a literal star being. He was a sun. It's literal. Whether you're religious or not, that's just a doctrine. You can go and do your own research. Believe what you want, but we're talking actual science, like actually facts. Like if you go into like the physics and the geometry of the human mind-body system, all right, you'll see that it's the same geometry as the star tetrahedron makeup of a self-perpetual, self-regenerating sun. Okay, star. So the nervous system. You can actually gear your nervous system, recalibrate your nervous system to actually run positive instead of run fear, get like shocks or get anxiety from the point that you wake up in the morning to the point that, you're interacting with people, to the point that You have to merge on the highway to the point that, you close your eyes and you got to go to sleep. You actually recalibrate that if you work on it. You can recalibrate that to run positive bioelectric source energy from the sun or from source straight up. And this is where the electrical network comes in. By science actually making it widely available to see that the star is just a huge giant electrical system, kind of like a giant brain, just like the neurons in your brain are electric. It goes to allude that you can actually be in an illuminated space and walk along this electricity like you are just like a little neuron in a huge brain. All right, if you want to use that analogy. Okay, so as you're in your brain, right, aka the universe, you are still you. All right, except you have to be positive. You have to be healthy. It's like also being a white blood cell in a huge body. You have to be a walking embodiment of your own energy, because if you know what it's like to be like a cell in a body, there's a lot of stuff that wants to happen, and there's a lot of stuff that is opportunistic from the outside that wants to get into your sphere and take you over. So being in your center literally means growing up and being able to discern outside energies from what is going on inside. Okay, now I can go off on a tangent, about all types of shit, all types of stuff, getting beamed out from everywhere. Just talking about a Black Hawk, I can see the fucking frequency going off it. I can look at the cell tower, see frequency going off of it. I can look at the power lines and just sense frequency, just ready to start sparking up. It's like once you see that stuff, you can counteract that as long as you know who you are from the inside. All right, so to get there, it's kind of like beginning off your baby. All right, your baby who doesn't even know their surroundings. If you don't know the universe is actually electric, you don't know the sun is actually electric, and it actually is linked into the planet Earth by the light that it swirls off of its center down to the core of the planet, and it beams out, out to the other stars as an actual conduit of a living bioelectric computer system. Then you're still a baby, and you don't actually know your surroundings. Believe it or not, it'd be a big person, like a big man or a big woman in your reality, a grown woman, grown ass person. And if you don't know that, then there's work to do. No judgment. So if you understand how babies work, all right, when a baby's born, a baby doesn't necessarily know that it isn't the coffee table that it is standing next to when it first finally begins to start walking, all right? It's going to start to bite on the coffee table. Even before it starts walking, it doesn't know that it isn't the person that it just came out of. It doesn't know that it isn't stop saying it. Baby's the person. The baby doesn't know that the baby is not the energy that it feels outside itself, coming from the person that it just came out of. Literally, you're being rebirthed. You're being rebirthed into a higher conscious being, and you have to integrate higher energies that are not resonant to the energies that you've been holding in your physical vessel your entire life that you thought were you. So that literally does make you a spiritual baby. So you have to grow up all over again. It begins here. As long as you know that you're not other people's emotion, you're on the way. You know that, people project their stuff, and not all the time it's about you. When somebody is mad at someone else, or when somebody is upset over some frivolous bullshit, it's not always you. So from a multidimensional perspective, again, walking in your center is being positive on the inside. Like, your body runs like a conduit on the inside that's light, it's pure light. If you can get your frequency to run correctly, you're not in other people's bullshit. The reason why people blow off their steam in traffic, at work, when they get home from work, at their family, when they are out at the bars and getting drunk and trying to, forget their troubles, or when, they're looking at the TV and they're projecting their stuff on TV characters. Like, they are in a net of illusion. They're in a fourth dimensional parasitic net of illusion that's holding them down. And what they have are energy cords on their brain that, is hooked like a filter. It's hooked like a filter in everybody's brain, so they will not collectively look at who they actually are. All they can do is just project, judge, blame, guilt, all subconsciously, unconsciously, and they continue to do that, and if you can see people doing that, you can get out of it. All right, this blog is for people who want to learn stuff that other people are not going to tell them. So here it is. All right, you stay out of that net by remaining in your heart and walking in your center. All right, so this net is like, because I can see it. All right, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. This net is like a sick, etheric, undead rainforest, all right, with like tentacles, and the consistency is like sludgy smoke. It's like sludgy smoke that kind of just like tries to weave in and just tries to like sludge on you and then hook. And once it hooks, it twists. Like, it's really malicious, all right? So when you start to light up like a living, walking sun, like you just walked out of a fucking sun, like you start to light up, right? You can start to see this shit. Like you start to look at it, and you start to be able to see from your own light coming from your own being. All right. So what you do is like just cut your way out of it. Like you have swords. Like you have Archangel Michael's sword, or you can have like, I use twin swords, and I just cut shit all day. I cut shit like as soon as I'm done interacting with somebody, I gotta cut an attachment. Like it's not even like it's not even like a conscious thing that people are caught in a net. It's like net is like it's like a sick motherboard, and this motherboard will just like hook on people and just run them parasitically from the subconscious, just totally imitating their personality, their issues that they haven't processed, their pet peeves, their insecurities, just all the stuff that they would get a negative reaction from, or something that is going to keep them looking outside of themselves and not at themselves. All right, by any means, that's what net is for. That is its intention, is just to keep the human being running and not actually self-aware, like totally self-actualized. Like once you start to look at yourself and get into your center, you'll see like all of a sudden you'll get thoughts, you'll get frequency going at you, you get energy going at you. Think about this person, think about this person, think about this person, think about that, think about this, what about that, what about this? Like it's always something else, and you have to just like, you have to put up a barrier, all right? You have to put up your shield and actually get into your center and get into your heart and your pillar of light. All right. Now, you got to learn that, you're not your possessions. All right. You're not anything outside of you. Anybody else's emotions, besides like your 3D body, you're not anything that's outside of you. So when your shadow is kind of like in your ear, like you are a light body, and then you have your fifth dimensional version, and then you have your fourth dimensional version. Your fourth dimensional version is also on the net, right? However, you at your center are a creator, and you have the reins on your fifth dimensional version. So that also means that your fifth dimensional version is also you in the highest intention. So that means the entire left side of your body correlates the light side of your entire functioning. So you need light to go through your left side to actually run positive. So it's like, you'll see people, when they're driving a car, they'll be driving a car and they'll put a turn signal on and then they don't turn, or they'll put a turn signal on and they'll turn the other way, or they'll switch lanes and not use a turn signal. They'll switch lanes and just totally go across 3 lanes, or they'll not see a stop sign, and they'll just continue just being run by like multidimensional aspects that they don't know are in their body. All right, so it's like 2 drivers in their own body. So your vessel is like a car. It's like a huge, like a very, very, very top of the line Formula One performance vehicle. Okay, and you have to drive it, and you drive it from your left side. Okay, you are in the center. However, you can use the 5th dimensional self to help drive your vessel. So here's the way I do it. So in order to drive your vessel correctly, you kind of have to know the setup on how to drive it. Like, only way I have figured this out is by experience. Like, I look at my dream time and I see the environment of my dream time, and when I'm on a bender, when I'm going crazy, when like bullshit is happening, like I'm like some type of punk rocker in a mosh pit, like I look at my body position and I look at where my arms are at and what level of polarity I'm on. Okay, your right side is your shadow side, your left side is your light side. All right, you basically have a driver's wheel on your inner reality, like an energy field. Like, if you want to say a driver's wheel of your physical vessel, it's just 3 circles, like interlaid within themselves. All right, and you can know what polarity that you're on is, what side of your body is more dominant. So when you see yourself like acting like more maliciously or more, offensively, you're probably going to see like your right side kind of just like more leaned over and more in control. All right, when I woke up from this dream, I saw my right hand just literally like this, like it was on a driver's wheel. Like, that's literally like how you gear yourself up and how you move yourself through a multidimensional reality. You have to control yourself from your center. All right, and the best way to do that is from your left side. All right. To keep myself running positive, I lock my field. The way I lock my field is left hand over right. All right, very simple. Left hand over right. Okay, that means your light goes through your left, right, to your right, and then it circulates, and you're able to keep that positive conduit running. And as that positive conduit runs, you're able to literally supersede the net that everybody's caught on. Like, if you ever been in a room, you walk into a room and then it feels like people are constantly like stepping over into your space and stepping off, and stepping over into your space and stepping off, or they're waiting for you to like walk into like a certain area of the room so they can walk into another area of the room and then step over into your space and step off. It's kind of like the same thing. Like, when you get into your own light, you are running totally positive. All right, people are doing that to other people because they're on a net. They're literally on like a net, a dirty electric net that keeps them bouncing off other people in attachment. And when you get positive, like running pure light energy through your synapses, through your energy field, through your nervous system, you literally run across that net on your own unified field. All right, so like, as long as you remain in your heart, you have intention to be clear. You do a meditation at least 20 minutes a day to keep you in your center and keep you in your reality, because there is more than one you besides you in your body. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's why people's lives are the way that they are. Like, and I hate to break it to anybody, like, my life isn't perfect, but like, you have people, just triggered at any particular moment of the day. Like, you're watching the news, like those people do not stop talking. They're like a talking mouthpiece, and they will say anything for money. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's not just a human who's going to sell their soul to talk about, like, propaganda conversation points for profit for war, or maybe you're with a family member and you're at a family gathering, everything's fine, next minute is World War III. Like, people are just popping off, just from something that made it happen. Like, it's triggers that go off. They're not just like these curious thought patterns, these thought forms. They're actually multidimensional aspects either triggering you, or it's a parasitic net. Like, it could be either or. Like, you have to be in control of your physical body to be able to manage those type of things that happen in your energy field. So that's why I make these videos. That's why I make this blog. Like, I honestly don't care if people watch this or not. Like, this information has to be out there. I'm not here to make people feel good, or else, I'd be talking in like a healing tone manner and only saying nice things and putting you in a spiritual platitude regurgitation loop. It's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what is, best for you to know. Like, things that I wish other people had taught me, before I had to learn the hard way and, get caught up in this shit. So it's like, take it for what you want it, always with discernment. Remember, all right, when you bring in your higher selves, all right, they're here to help you, all right? They're not all-knowing wise beings, okay? They don't always have every complete, ultimate answer to your questions that you have, all right? Like, you use them to help you, and they pretty much have to do what you say, like as long as you're nice about it, because you're just equal as them. And, if you feel like you might not get a higher self if you call them, just make sure you connect with your highest cosmic version of self, all right? Your cosmic self, always on your left side, ask that being to get you in contact with your higher self so you can pull these aspects in and actually maintain your field and be able to walk across the bioelectric system and not get caught up in the confusion and the attachment and the issues that everybody else is processing on a loop. So peace and love. If you guys would like a session, I do sessions at quantumlife.net. Healing, intuitive coaching, soul retrieval coming soon, and numerology readings also available. So take care. Talk to you later.